So today we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. And today's big topic is the same: Lashon Hara, laws of derogatory speech. Today's topic: other forms of negativity. While the scriptural prohibition against Lashon Hara applies only to speaking about living, our sages prohibit making slanderous remark about the deceased. So it's very interesting. So not about living, about deceased, not about deceased. Okay. It is forbidden to speak negatively of our beloved land, Eretz Israel, as the Torah relates that generation that merited to be liberated from Egypt spent 40 years in the wilderness and died there because evil speech concerned the land. Right. So from this, the holy sages. Rashi in particular, right? He quotes the Gemara and says, "Look at this. We have this concept, kal v'chomer. Needless to say, if people suffer so much about when they spoke about the earth, land, like stones and the earth, like how much a person would be punished and how much he's going to suffer when he's speaking about a living person." Right, so who does have feelings? So unless, as we said, it's for constructive purpose. Okay, so about the land of Israel, so we have to make a separation, clear separation. There is the land of Israel, which is holy, and there is the government of Israel, like as a country. So those are two separate things. And the government of the Israel, current government, and all of the governments, they're wicked. Some of them a little less, some of them a little more, but they're wicked and they do everything to destroy the Torah. Okay, but the land is holy, so let's not confuse two things. Continue. In truth, it is proper to avoid focusing on negative unnecessarily, even when discussing non-sacred objects. The early commentators tell us of a wise man and his students who came upon the carcass of an animal. When the students commented of the fall order, the wise man responded, "But see the white teeth it has." Okay, so you always can find positive things, and plus it's not for constructive purpose. So everybody smell the order, like what are you adding to with your empty conversation, especially as students of the Torah. So we're trying to save our words, like conserve our words to tell the words of the Torah, not nonsense. Okay, stop here. All right, so continue. Okay, so last time we started the Siman 48, and our topic was laws of Brochos upon the foods made of 5 species of grain. Okay. Okay, so last time I'm just looking up. We did only introduction. We did only introduction. So now we continue with safe number 1. Just to remind us. So if these 5 species of grain, the products of 5 species of grain, they made into bread, right? For bread we say hamotzi, and after we finish we say Bircas hamazon. Okay. And if they're made into other, like they say cakes and pies and like cookies and other things. So those are mizoines, a different blessing, and different after blessing, unless a person made the whole suda, the whole meal out of them, out of these cakes. Let's out of the cake, and then this cake, it would be considered as bread, and meaning in the sense of bread is from the bread family, and he would be obligated to say Birchas Hamazon. So if he knows the outset that I'm going to eat that much, we're going to see how much is it, right? He would need to go and wash his hands, even though it's only cake, right? Okay, so safe number 1. Bread type food. So those are foods. They call that bread type. Bread type. What is in what is not bread type? Something that was cooked. For example, pasta. It's not. It's also like made from the flour, from the dough, like bread, but it was cooked, so it's not bread like type. Okay. So a little introduction. So continue. Sif number 1. Bread type food that is made from one of the 5 species of grain, and that was not prepared as a bread, but was a pas haba b'kisnin, has the following halacha. So pas haba b'kisnin, it's this bread family. So bread family meaning like similar to bread, which is but not bread, like all of the cakes in the bread family. Okay. So commentary, let's say, in general terms, it refers to baked goods that are generally not used as a main bread of the meal. Okay. Or accompany a main course, or to accompany a main course. Usually you eat cake as a dessert, but not a main course. See the text and the notes CF2, we're going to get to it, for characteristic composition and the loss of such bread. So it's not bread, but it's from bread family. So in some sense, if a person would eat a lot, so it's going to be considered as bread. Henceforth, we will refer simply as kisnin bread. Kisnin bread. So one more time, we're talking about cakes. Bread is bread, but those are cakes. Okay, the whole sentence from the beginning. So we have continuation. The bread type food that is made one of the 5 species of grain that was not prepared as bread, but pas haba b'kisnin, has the following halacha. If one eats of such food less than the amount that constitutes a set meal, then halacha is unlike that of bread. There is nitalas yadayim is not required before it is eaten, and we do not recite hamotzi blessing upon eating it. Okay, so it's from negative we learn positive, right? So if person eats a piece of cake, and it's so we did not define the amount yet. So we proceeding step by step. So now we say if a person ate less the amount that a person usually eats for a meal, we did not discuss this amount. So then it's considered as even though it is from bread family, it is a cake. Let's say it is a cake. So he would say baramine mizoines, right? And it's as a usual cake. He does not have to wash his hands, nothing. No Bircas Amazon, that's it. So as we all know, that's what we follow. All right. Rather, before eating, if one recites the blessing baramine mizoines, and after eating, he recites blessing ala michia. So let's see. So translation literally for the nourishment. See below regarding the Halachos, Brochos, Achrona, final blessing. So if what does it mean here? If person ate a kizayis, we said it's 28 grams, 1 ounce approximately, right, of this product. He would need to say this after blessing. So if less than this amount, no blessing, and this amount must be eaten in 3 to 4 minutes, but maximum 9 minutes. So if person take a little pieces, a little break over little pieces, and the end, like after 9 minutes, he did not eat this 28 grams, this 1 ounce, that's it. So there is no blessing, even though he ate, but not in a specific time, not a preset time. Okay. So ala michia is, if you don't know by heart, it's now siddur, and in our siddur, I think it's called me'am shalosh. So I mean me'am shalosh ala michia, it's exactly the same thing. And even though it's like even for ala geffen, so even that sometimes the script the books also call it ala michia. But I mean, even if person drank wine, so I mean that's all all refer to exactly the same after blessing. However, if one eats of such food amount that constitute a set meal, then the halacha is the same as a standard bread. So, let's we already said it. But if he ate amount that constitute the set meal, meaning most of the people would say, most of the people will get full from that amount, right? And that's what if meal would consist bread and other things, that's how much they will eat, right? And average, of course, we're talking about average. Some people eat a lot and some people eat a little. So we're talking about average, right? So then this cake would, or cookies, or whatever person eats, are going to consider as a bread, right? And he would need to go wash his hands. Of course, we're talking about if that was planned, right? Do nitalas yadayim, meaning washing of the hands, like for bread, is required before eating. And one decide chamotzi, blessing upon it. So even though, like, if I would, under normal circumstances, I would say baremi zoines on this piece of cake, but since for whatever reason, that's all food I have, right? And it's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 slices, let's say, of this cake, and it's very heavy, right? It's very heavy. So I would say not baremi zoines, but chamotzi lechem min chaoretz, right? And after a person eats, he would need to say Birchas Hamazon. So Birchas Hamazon, again, he needs to eat this kizayis, this 28 grams, 1 ounce, in preferably 3 to 4 minutes. Commentary. Kisnin bread is generally not classified as a standard bread, since it is not usually eaten as or with meal, but it primarily as a snack. So all of these snacks, all of these like cakes, is a snack. It's not like it's not meal. It is only when it is actually eaten as a meal. So that's all you have. Like for whatever reason, you got stuck somewhere in a hotel and you went to supermarket. That's all, and everything that they have like kosher, this cake. That's it. Happens, right? And they lost your luggage. Okay, meal. There is one eats the amount of kisnin bread that constitutes the set meal. There is attached. There is attained the status of standard bread. You see Mishnah Berurah 68:23. Okay, so it's like halachically becomes bread for us. Okay, we finish this. See if any questions on what we said so far from anybody. Okay. No problem. So we cover like all of these halachas, but in detail in different class, but not everybody were there. So it was in Halachos of Brochos, and it was maybe, I don't know, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, I don't know, long time ago. So, okay. So Sefer number 2. What is pas haba bekisnin? Oh, here we need to give definition. Some authorities say that it is a bread type food that is prepared from as a kind of packet, filled with fruit or with meat or cheese. Okay. Or similar filling. Okay, so let's see. Kind of a packet. Commentary. According the word kisnin is derived from the word kis, packet. Thus, pas haba bekisnin means bread that comes in the form of packets. Okay, so that's like something filled with, as they say, with a meat, with fish. Sometimes with fruits, with preserves, like with jelly, all of these things, right? It's one type, packet filled with fruit and meat or cheese also. So if you go for example into like to pizzeria, so they have all of these. I don't know these names, but they have like they filled with cheese, with like a soft cheese, harder cheese, like a melted cheese, all of these things, right? So that would be in this category. So commentators say, another commentator, Evan Hayes writes that contrary to the opinion, to some authorities, the meat and cheese filling are the same as a fruit filling. Okay, and gives the dough the halach of pas haba b'kisnim. See note, see following note. Okay, I mean that's what we always say. Oh, that's what I said. I apologize. I said it because I learned something, but it does not say here. I apologize. So Kitzur always only said meat and cheese. I apologize. I added fruits. Okay, yeah. So fruits wasn't commented. Okay, but that's what Mishnah Brura says. Even fruits or similar fillings. Commentary. Honey, sugar, nuts, almonds, and seasoning. Shulchan Aruch 168.7. The filling refers here must be significant enough to be very clearly tasted and to significantly affect the taste, such a fruit-filled pie, right? So if you have fruit-filled pie, you have cherry pie, apple pie, for sure you know it's pie, right? For sure. Continue. So all the things that feel. I mean, today, like if I think that the most popular would be not something filled with meat or fish. I don't know. Like I think most of these fillings are like fruits. I think. Continue. Because of the filling, people do not usually eat it as a primary bread of meal. Therefore, even in a case where one comes to eat the dough and none of the filling, it is not treated as a standard bread. Okay, so I mean, if we take, for example, this cherry pie, so how much of this pie you need to eat? So later on, we're going to say how much we're talking about the standard meal. I mean, I didn't get to it yet, but the Mishnah Brura says it's. There is opinion from Shulchan Aruch. One is 6 ounces and one is 8 ounces. So it's a lot, meaning it's a lot of the dough. So if you eat with the filling, it's I don't know, it's probably the whole pie, even like more than one pie. Of course, it depends on the pie, but they say even if you eat this dough alone, right, without the filling, since it is saturated with sweet taste of the fruits, so it's not considered to be bread. Okay, continue. In the case of the meat and cheese filling, many authorities hold that its classification depends on how the pastry is prepared. There is a clearly when it is clearly meant for a snack, such as small pastries with the bits of cheese or meat inside that are commonly served as a dessert, for example, cheese Danish. Okay, then it is considered kisnin bread, according to this opinion. In certain preparations, however, the dough baked with a filling of meat and cheese is served as a meal in itself. So they probably so big and so filled with cheese, like huge, probably you eat one and you're full basically. In these cases, we do not treat the preparation as a snack or a filled dough, but rather as a main dish. There is the filled meat or cheese that is served together with bread. There is dough in which it is encompassed. So basically, if a person would eat only this and that's it. So in some sense, even the cheese is inside. So we consider in simple words, it's like a sandwich. So if I have sandwich, if I have bread, and I melt the cheese, let's say on one piece of bread, and then I put like a few pieces of cheese, and then put another piece of bread on top. So it's still sandwich, it's still hamotzi. So in some sense, they say since it is like the whole meal, this dish would be the whole meal. So it's a bread to begin with. So if it's smaller pieces, smaller things. That maybe you're going to eat in few bites. That's my guess, right? Maybe 2 or 3 bites and then you're done, or one bite. Then it would be like a snack. Okay, But if you ask me, have I ever seen these huge things? Probably not. I don't think so. In such cases, the pastry is treated as a standard bread, right? And the hamotzi blessing should be recited. Okay, see Mishnah Brura in Bir Halacha 168:17. Kitzur, however, citing or Evan Haizer makes no such distinction in the previous note. Okay, so but it's actually makes sense with this Mishnah Brura. I mean, it makes sense if it's some like big thing with a filling inside, and that's the whole meal. That's a different thing. It's like a bread, 100%. Okay. So let's go back and try to read the whole sentence so we have continuation. So one more time. What is the Pascha barbecue name? Some authorities say that it is a bread type food that is prepared in a kind of packet filled with fruit or with meat or cheese, or as we added fruit also. Okay. No, actually it says fruit. I apologize. No, it says fruit. It says fruit. It says fruit, or meat or cheese. Okay, or similar filling. It is, and also those that are prepared like flooding. So what is flooding? There is a cake with layers of dough with fruit baked with honey, similar to contemporary apple strudel or baklava. Okay, so meaning in layers. Okay, so it's a layer of dough, then the fruits or nuts, or in baklava I think like they have honey or something. Okay, so continue. So it's also is going to be this. We also treat it as packets. Okay, continue. However, there are those authorities who say that Pascha barbecue refers to the bread dough that is kneaded with oil, or with a fat, or with honey, or with milk, or with eggs, or with other fruit juices. Okay, so here we go. So, but other authorities say no, it's actually okay. So all just give a big idea. There are three opinions. Okay, so it's directly from Shulchan Aruch. Three opinions. One is three opinions. What is considered Pascha barbecue, meaning the bread family. So first one we discussed is the packets, some that we fill with fruit, cheese, or meat, or fish, other things. Okay. Second type, we said that it was needed almost or completely without water. Right, so that's how they make cakes, right? With oil, right? Oil, fat. I'm not sure which fat they're talking about. I don't know, maybe butter. I'm not sure which fat. Honey. So you can do with honey. I mean, it's going to be like it's not easy to mix this dough, yeah, but it's possible. Or with milk. So some pastries are made with milk, no problem. Or with eggs. So some, completely with eggs. There is no water. In some recipes, as I know, there is only eggs. Okay, let's see Mishnah Brura. Or with fruit juices. So commentaries say, see Mishnah Brura 168:85, who cites many authorities, holds that frying a dough in oil so that the taste of the oil is dominant also refers to Pascha barbecue, even if it is subsequently baked. So let's read this opinion one more time and try to explain. So Mishnah Brura says, so he cites many authorities who holds that holds that frying a dough in oil, okay, frying dough in oil, so that the taste of the oil is dominant. So you feel like saturated with oil. Also renders it Pascha barbecue, okay, even if it is subsequently baked. Okay, good. So these juices, fruit juices. So that's how this question started about pizza being chamotz or being misogynes, right? So some people, so they say, so they are so ungrateful to people They don't want to say thanks to HaShem, so they say we're going to buy only Mizoines pizza. So what is Mizoines? So the person in charge said we added fruit juice, we added apple juice, right? So apple juice, but can it taste apple juice? Absolutely not. That's the issue. So if you ate pizza and it tastes with apple juice, like or orange juice or whatever juice, so then it's going to be Mizoines. Otherwise, it's not. So, but since our sages were not exact, I'm not sure why. Don't ask me why. They were not clear. I mean, they say that, but here they say that the taste must be discernible. So only then it could be Mizoines. Otherwise, like bread family. Otherwise, it's not. So pizza is 100% bread. Okay. You must wash hands and say Bircas Hamazon. Continue. Even if the water was mixed, but the source of the controversy is from here. Okay. Even if the water was mixed into dough as well, it is still classed as kisnin bread. So meaning there were eggs, mostly eggs, but some a little water mix also, or fruit juices and water, right? As long as the water was a minority of the liquid used. Okay, so minority, but okay, so let's say minority, it means like 49%, right? So if you have like fruit juice in this dough, like 51%, you should taste it. If you did not taste it, it's not what is not minority. And plus, if we use the juice from concentrate, that's the problem. It's not considered to be juice. It's considered to be water, sweet water. It's very interesting. So continue. Commentary. So we're going to comment on a piece where it says, as long as the water has was a minority of the liquid used. So meaning to make this bread. Commentaries say the dominant taste must also be that of the flavoring and additives, and not of the flour. So like when you eat this these cakes, this pizza, this anything, right? You must have the taste of these fruit juices or eggs or something, right? They taste totally different. See Mishnah Berurah 168:33. Example of this would be regular chocolate cake, coffee cake, and honey cake. I mean, you have no doubt that its cake had nothing to do with the bread. I mean, looks like a bread a little, but it's not bread. According to the explanation of kisnin bread, the word kisnin is derived from toasted grain. Toasted grain. Kisnin. Okay, so it's a little different spelling. That was customarily eaten after a meal for the healthful effect of the on the heart. Okay, so it was in olden days. See Eruvim 29b. Okay, so they ate toasted grain. Okay, this grain would be served with the pastries such as those described here. Very interesting. There is kneaded with oil, fat and honey. Okay, etc. Very interesting. Thus, according to this opinion, pas haba bekisnin means the bread that is served with a toasted grain. Okay, it's very interesting. I mean, for us, we just use exactly the same expression. And one more time to remind us, it's a bread family. Bread family. So we're very close to bread because of this explanation, previous explanation. It does not make any difference, but it's very interesting explanation. So it was served with toasted grain, which is called kisnin. Like I'm not sure if you want to go healthy, why you want to eat these pastries. But they say the grain is for health reason. Okay, no problem. Continue. We hold by both of these opinions. Okay, there is a third opinion, but okay. We hold by the both of these opinions, following the lenient application of each. Okay, we're going to see what is the lenient application of each, and we therefore treat both these those foods as pas haba bekisnin. So what is it lenient of both opinions? Let's see. There is eating either of these preparations does not require one to wash nitilas yadayim. So if it was cooked with dough was made with milk, as like some pastries, that's what they do, with milk, with honey, with all of these liquids, right? Or even if they are only majority, still it's in this category. One second, require nitilas yadayim, and that does not require nitilas yadayim because it's only from bread family, but not bread, right? And no Bircas hamazon. Okay, and the second commentary say and we treat both of these foods Pascha Babi Kisnin, number 20. Shulchan Aruch said, third definition, that's what I was talking about. Third definition, Pascha Babi Kisnin, a dough, even if needed, for with only flour and water, that was baked in a way that result in a hard, dried, brittle cracker. For example, biscuits, hard pretzels. But I would say this, what is it, crackers also, right? Cracker, like cracker, whatever we understand as cracker. Okay. According to this view, kisnin is derived from Aramaic word meaning hard, dry bread. So you see, like even though the Talmud said kisnin, but this word applies, like all of the three opinions have something to rely on, right? Even using the same word. See the Targum to Yechashua 9.5, etc. Okay, since it is not usually eaten as a primary bread, it does not have halacha of standard bread. It's considered kisnin bread. See Mishnah Brura 168.35. Shulchan Aruch concludes that we follow all three opinions, and all three types of baked goods are classed kisnin bread. I'm very surprised why Kitzur did not mention this. Baruch HaShem, this article, they did amazing job. So somebody asked me, I bought already like different set of Kitzur. So I would suggest my personal opinion, donate it somewhere to someone, and somebody would be very happy. Buy this one, because this edition of Kitzur has not only Kitzur itself and his explanation what he says, but they have also Mishnah Brura. That's what we follow, right? And they have Shulchan Aruch. For example, this opinion was missing from Kitzur. Okay, I'm not sure why, and have some modern application of Rav Moshe Feinstein. That's all. Also, so it's like very, very practical. Like if you read without these commentaries, it's not so practical. Right, for example, because of this third opinion, and the third opinion, so our matzah would be this dry, like a dry cracker for sure. It would be mizoines, so that's what Sephardim follow this opinion, and they say baremine mizoines on matzah all year around, right, and only on Pesach. There is difference of the opinions. So according to one opinion, throughout the whole Pesach, they say hamotzi on matzah. But according to a different opinion, only for first two Sidorim, they say hamotzi, and the rest on the rest of the day they go back to mizones. Ashkenazi custom is different. Ashkenazi say hamotzi on matzah all year around, even though it's clearly under the third category, but it is in some sense it is an exception, because matzah is actually eaten as a mainstay of the meal. It is, right? For example, if you don't have bread, or if like when you have two Baruch HaShem, when you have too many guests or kids ate all of the bread, for example, I mean all of the it's not enough bread, so you would put take a piece of matzah, and you would eat like a second bread, second challah. There is no problem. So it's 100% bread. But Sephardim goes that it is actually not bread, is mizones. Okay. Any questions on what we said? We finished. Let's see if. Okay, no problem. So no questions. We continue. Second. Let me check something. Okay, continue. Number 3. Kitzur now, so three types. Kitzur now defines what constitutes a set meal. So now we need to know like what is the amount. Okay. The Kitzur now defines constitutes a set meal double quotes, and thus subject to the requirements set forth at the end of CF1. Meaning, just to remind us, as we said, if he eats amount of set meal of these 3 types, right? Needless to say bread, but even these 3 types, a person would need to say chamotzi and Bircas hamazon. The amount that constitutes a set meal is not measured for each individual by his own personal standard. Rather, it measures by the standard of majority of the people. So, if we leave this halacha to individual decide is it the complete meal, not complete meal, so people would go crazy and nobody would ever know what to do. So sages, of course, they would not leave it to every individual to decide what is considered to be a standard meal, of course. So commentary said 21. Commentary said, Bir Halacha 168.6 writes that this refers to the majority of the people in one's age group. Thus, a child and the elderly person follow the eating habit of majority of his group, for whom the lesser amount may be considered a set meal. See also Igrat Moshe or Chaim 3, chapter 32, who writes that this determination we follow eating habits of each particular country as well. So one thing is which country, right? So we take two things into consideration. The place where you live. For example, in US, people usually eat bigger meals, bigger breakfast or something, like if it's a meal. But in other countries, they eat very lightly, right? So, and or opposite, and plus the age group. So we cannot say that let's say 13, 14 years boys or girls, whatever they eat, and the men are like for a grown man, like in his 40s. Of course, his meal and then kids' meals are 2 different meals, right? So it's a country, I mean the place where they live, and plus age group. But still, it's not concrete enough. Okay, so continue. A set meal is amount that the most people would normally eat in a noon or evening meal. So forget about breakfast. Even though it says it's proper to eat the bread on the breakfast, they say, okay, noon meal, meaning lunch, when people eat with bread, or evening meal. Okay, evening meal. When eating to satisfy their hunger. Okay, no problem. So let's see. Noon or evening meal commentary. There is the regular full meals of the day. Okay, so some people just even today, so they're so busy with doing whatever they do, they eat twice a day, right? So they eat in the morning, like big breakfast, and skip lunch, and eat it later on in the evening. Okay, but anyway, whatever is a full meal for you to fill the hunger, that's the meal. Okay, when eating to satisfy their hunger, to satisfy their hunger. 23 commentary. Mishnah Brura 168.24 cites the opinion that puts the amount of the set meal at the volume of 4 eggs. So here we go. So that's when I said it's 6 ounces or 8 ounces, we actually go by these eggs, right? Which is considered a less, it was actually not. In Shulchan Aruch, it actually says, I'm not sure, maybe he said it, maybe not. If I remember correctly, Shulchan Aruch said there are 2 opinions. One is 3 eggs and one is 4 eggs. Okay, so here we go by more lenient opinion, right? 4 eggs, which considerably less than this volume, right? So, right, considerably less than this volume, 4 eggs, okay? Which, okay, for the purpose of this halacha, this equals approximately volume of all fluid ounces. Okay. So one kizayis is 1 ounce. And okay, continue. Mishnah Brura writes that while the halacha does not follow this opinion, it is better to avoid this situation either by eating less than this volume of 4 eggs, which is all agree is not a set meal, okay, and recite Mizona's blessing beforehand as an ala michia afterwards when required, or by eating at least an amount that most people would eat for a regular morning or evening meal, which all agree is a meal, and washing nitalas yadayim and recited hamotzi blessing beforehand, and recite Bircas Hamazon afterwards. So let's try to understand what it says here. So even though we said 8 ounces, and actually I abide by this opinion, 8 ounces. So if 8 ounces, it's a lot of cake. Just so you know, it's a lot. Right? It's half a pound. So and like and for sure it's going to feel. I mean, if somebody is big person and he usually eats double of this amount, that's a different story. But for a regular person, that's 8 ounces should be more than enough. So they say, okay, so don't put yourself in this questionable situation. Eat less than 8 ounces, for sure less. I don't know, 6, 7, like even not 7, whatever, eat less for sure, or make a longer break. Whatever you do is good, or eat as a regular meal. So, but again, we did not define how much is a regular meal, like in a weight category. Okay. So, but 8 ounces is like a cutoff point. Even though, as I said, there is opinion even like more stricter. It's 3 eggs, which is 6 ounces. Continue. If an individual eats this amount of bread, kisnin bread, even if he is not satiated, okay, it is nevertheless has a halachic status of bread. That's it. So satiation here is not of the factors. So, but here he said if opinion that we follow here in the Kitzur is a set meal for like in this country in his age group. So commentaries say there is even if this amount will not satiate that particular person, it is considered a set meal since it is amount with which most of the people be satiated and eat as a full meal. One person's individual level of satiety is not taken into account when it is at variance with the normal situation or the vast majority of people. So see Rosh, Bracha, 6 story, okay, etc. So basically it says here, what does it say? So there is a set amount of food that people eat during the meal, right? And it was people in that country, in that region, right? And this age category would be satiated. So that specific person, it's a little usually it's a little more. So he's not satiated. It's irrelevant. So we go by average. In many cases, that's what sages decided. Go by average. Okay, continue. If he had kisnin bread with accompaniment. So what does it mean? For example, he ate kisnin bread with meat. Okay, see Mishnah Brura 68:24. Then we also must determine whether others eating this amount of kisnin bread with accompaniment would be satiated. If they would, it is attained the status of bread. So meaning if other people would eat this big piece of meat with this piece of bread, and it's a normal meal, for example, right? So then him eating this piece of cake and this piece of meat, right, is going to be a meal, even though he did not eat the full portion. Okay. So commentary 26, and it says, there is, although most people would not have been satiated with the same amount of kisnin bread eaten by itself. So it's again cake and piece of meat, right? For the purposes of this halacha, we look at the entire meal, a kisnin bread together with accompaniment. So it's also like when you usually people don't eat the bread alone; they eat the bread and eat other foods. So it's so that's and person gets satiated, even though, for example, person ate 1 kizais of bread, like we discussed, it's half a slice of bread, let's say, right? One kizais of bread, but since he ate a salad and soup and other things, and drank tea at the end, so of course he got satiated from bread. No, not from bread, but from entire meal, right? So that's exactly the same logic we look at here, right? But here, instead of piece of cake, right, instead of bread and all of the other accompanying things. So, but this cake is piece of meal, is a part of the meal. Okay, so let me do the whole sentence together, because it's very long. One more time from the beginning. There is, although most people would not have been satiated with the same amount of kisnin bread eaten by itself only, right? It's not enough, but for the purpose of this halacha, we'll look at the entire meal of kisnin bread together with accompaniment, which combined is equal to amount at which most people would be satiated. Siman again of Aragam 168:13. So very simple. If you ate this piece of cake and plus all of the other good things, and you got satiated, so it's like you ate meal. Continue. According to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, that's all, this amount is determined by amount of regular bread one would eat in such a meal. So that's a key, exactly as we said. Right, that's exactly what we said. So if person usually would eat like 1 slice of bread, usually people don't eat like half a slice. I mean, we gave extreme example, but if one wants to want to say Bircas Hamazon, that's enough for him to eat, right? This half a slice. But here, if he usually eats the 1 slice with his meal, which is possible, 1.5, 2 slices, whatever, right? So one more time. According to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, that's all, this amount is determined by amount regular bread one would eat in such a meal. So one more time, meal meaning with all other things. Thus, if one ate the amount of kisnin bread together with the meal that was satiated from a entire meal, he is required to say Birchas Hamazon. It's straightforward and clear. So okay, so let's finish, and we're going to conclude. Rabbi Feinstein, that's all. Further writes that in Western countries, where the bread is eaten only sparingly during the meal, the amount of kisnin bread or cake that would constitute set meal, even when eaten with other foods, considerably less than the volume of 4 eggs. I mean, usually people don't eat bread of 4 ounces of bread, usually, right? No, 8 ounces. 8 ounces. Thus, when one attends a wedding or a banquet and eats only small amount of kisnin bread, it is if he also eats other foods, which together with a small amount of kisnin bread would constitute a set meal, he would be obligated to wash his hands, nitalas yadayim, and recite Birchas Hamazon upon kisnin bread. See Igros Moshe, Orach Chaim 1, paragraph 52, part 3, paragraph 32, volume 4, paragraph 41. So the Rebbe Moshe finds in the Tzalk says very clearly, if you eat these pastries, these beautiful things with a meal, and it's like for satiation, for sure you have to say Bircas Hamazon if it was the amount of bread that you would usually eat with a meal. Okay. I hope I did not confuse new people very much, but please let me know. Are we clear? Any questions on what you said? Okay. So, okay, no problem. We continue. So, meaning, what is the solution, right? What is the solution? Eat with bread, or eat these cakes at the end of the meal. That's it. So it's not part of the meal. It's you finish eating, like our between the meals, and that's you're good. Continue. There is there in such a situation in which we do not compare the effects of meal that he ate to the effect of the similar meal of the majority of the people. If he ate small amount of kisnin bread without accompaniment, right, small amount, and he was satiated with this amount, but others, there is majority of the people, had they eaten this amount, would not be satiated. Although according to the rules set above, we should follow the habit of the majority of the people and disregard the fact that he is satiated with the less. However, in this case, since if he would have eaten that amount with accompaniment, they would have been satiated. In this case, the kisnin bread that he ate is also attained the halachic status of bread. So before I say something, let's read the note. Okay, so it says, so basically here we said that even if he ate kisnin bread without accompaniment, and it's not enough, so all people would eat less as a complete meal, for sure, right? But he's satiated. So what do we do? So usually, as we said before, we usually go by not by his personal constitution, but by like some people like thin, they don't like to eat much, and they're satiated with very little, right? So, but it does not change the requirement, because one more time we go by majority, but let me read the last part of the sentence. It says, however, in this case, since if they would have eaten that amount with accompaniment, so he was eating without this accompaniment, but they would eat this amount of bread, this kisnin bread with accompaniment, they would have been satiated. In this case, the kisnin bread that he ate also attained the halachic status of bread. Okay, so in this case, according to Shulchan Aruch, it's like an exception, since he got satiated, even with small amount, even without accompaniment, but other people would eat this amount only with accompaniment, and only then they would get satiated. According to Kitzur, he says Birchas Hamazon, commentary. Here we do not disregard his particular level of satiety as being contrary to the normal level of satiety of the majority of the people. Since the common person would also be satiated with this amount if it's eaten together with accompaniment. Okay, so basically this is one of the exceptions, and we go by his own feeling. Like if he feels satiated even with less, right, then even with less, but other people would eat this amount of kisnin bread with other things, so we allow him to say Birchas Hamazon. Okay, so I'm not sure, should we start next halacha or not? Check time. Okay, let's start. Let's do one more halacha in this time. Halacha number 4. If at first, when he began to eat, he was planning to eat only small amount of kisnin bread, okay, and therefore recited Baremine Mizoinen's blessing before eating, right? So that's a proper blessing, right? But afterwards, in the middle of eating, he changed his mind and decided to eat the amount of the set meal. The halacha in this case is follows. So he started with a little, but then he likes it very much, or decided like there is the other food is not good or something. I don't know. Whatever, for whatever reason, he changed his mind. So what does he do? So now he's planning to eat this set meal, 8 ounces or more. If that which he wishes to eat further does not contain amount of the set meal, unless it is combined with whatever he ate earlier, he should continue eating in this way without washing nitalas yadayim and recited hamotze. So it's very practical advice. So he started eating, so it depends how much more he wants to eat. So if he's going to eat this amount of set meal, which is a lot, besides minimum 8 ounces, but maybe even more, right? So then he goes and washes his hands and say al nitalas yadayim. But if only with combination of two things, whatever he ate before this point, and plus this combination what he's going to eat now, it's going to get to this 8 ounces or more. So then he just continue eating, and he would be required to say Birchas Hamazon, but not to wash his hands. Continue. C. Shar Hatziyun 168.21, who points out that in this case, since he had originally planned to eat only small amount, and then changed his mind and decided to eat more, he must recite new Bracha Rishana, first blessing. Thus also he is not required to recite Hamotzi, since he's not planning to eat the large amount. He must nevertheless recite Borei Minei Mizonos before continue to eat. I mean, I don't think we follow this halach. I don't think so. So we just let him continue eat without new blessing. Could be blessing in vain. I hear what he's saying, but we don't do that. Okay. After he finished eating, he should recite Birchas Hamazon. So we're talking about case, in either case, in either scenario, even if he ate enough for the full meal after he changed his mind, right? He washed his hands, or in combination for what he ate before and what he ate after, no problem. Right? He says Birchas Hamazon, since all foods that he has eaten, taken into together, constitutes the amount of set meal. So whatever he ate before he changed his mind, after he changed his mind, and all of these accompaniments. Continue. However, if that which he still wishes to eat contains on its own amount the amount of set meal, then before he continues, he must wash his hands al nitalas yadayim. I'm not sure whether he said that, but okay, and recite hamotzi blessing upon that which he wishes to eat. I guess that's my understanding, because I mean that does not make sense for kids to repeat the same thing. So maybe now he's going to eat a set amount of this kisnin bread with all of the accompaniments, like to make it like from this part of the meal, complete separate meal. Then he goes to wash his hands and say Birchas Hamotzi. Does he has set meal? 1 second. Hamotzi blessing. Okay. Continue. However, he need not recite Ala Michia blessing upon the food that he has eaten until that point. So it's very interesting thing also. So even though he started his meal right now, after let's say 20 minutes he's been eating, and he went and washed his hands, all of these foods that he ate before, all of these mizonos foods that he ate before, they actually counted as a part of this meal, because he changed his mind. It's I would say it's some kind of an exception. So even though after, like, it was eaten before the Hamotzi blessing, anyway, it's going to be covered by Birchas Hamazon. However, he need not to recite Ala Michia blessing. So Ala Michia is the after blessing after mizonos. upon food that he has eaten until that point, as we just explained, because with regard to the obligation Bracha Achrona, so the final blessing, that which he ate is combined with which he will still eat, right? Meaning it's same meal. I mean, he's at the same table. He's not moving anywhere, right? He just changed his mind, and will thus be exempt from its own bracha achrona. Bracha achrona meaning last blessing, with Bircas Hamazon, and he will recite at the concludes his meal. 29 commentary, and we stop. If one recites Hamotzi blessing on a kisnin bread, because he intends to eat to satiety, and then he changed his mind, that's very interesting, and decided to eat less, he's not required to recite Mizone's blessing, and he may continue eating kisnin bread. So at first he said, I'm going to eat so much, but then he decided not to eat so much. Right? So no new blessing is necessary. So I mean, he said Hamotzi, continue with Hamotzi. This is because the blessing he recited was the correct one at the time he recited, right? I mean, he just changed his mind in the middle. As kisnin bread is considered regular bread, if one plans of eating to satiety, right? So if you plan to eat a lot, so it's like, as we said, this cake become a regular bread. See Igras Maisher, Chaim, part 2, chapter 54, Yoredaya 3, chapter 122. Continue. See below 77:14. For discussion, the pertinent halachas regarding one who ate kisnin bread after recited kiddush on Shabbos morning. Kisnin bread. Okay. So meaning, okay. So it is a cake. So and we spoke about this thing in our, what did we speak about? I think it's in women's halacha class. So if she wants to do a kiddush, right? So she's not obligated to eat bread. She can eat a piece of cake, right? No problem. We stop here. Any questions on any topic? I see some people left us. A few people left. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
3 questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it altering a mitzvah to use a mold for challah instead of making the threading manually?
I didn't get. Could you say it again? You use a mold for a bread?
For making challah instead of making the whole thing manually.
Or mold like a form and put the dough?
Yes, it's the mold
it's relevant. I see what he's saying. They sell in Judaica. I don't know that's what you're referring to. There is a silicone mold of the form of the challah. It's like a braided. So it's like you have two pieces and you braid like this and this, but some people are lazy. So they push the dough inside of this mold, and then it's like they braid the challah. Okay, so is it does it like change the halacha? No, it's still a bread. So I mean that's only custom to make this to these braids. Okay, that's a good question. Yeah.
I mistaken thread with braid.
Okay. Got it.
And second question is the pita bread hamotzi or mesonot since it is not made in the oven?
No, it's 100% hamotzi. So it's a very good question. So thank you very much for asking. When we say packets, so first type of mizones bread we said was packets, but we said packets that filled with something. We said fruits or fish or cheese or meat or some filling. Only then, and it's baked together, not afterwards. It's not like you say pita. You take pita, right, and then you cut it in half and you put salad there. You put whatever you want inside and eat. No, it's 100% bread. It's like what we refer to only when you bake together. Then it's going to be mizonos. Yeah.
And the third question is, must Birkat Hamazon be recited if we eat a meal without bread and get very satiated like with pasta?
No, never. So we say Birchas Hamazon. Thank you, very good question. We say Birchas Hamazon only when you eat one bread as we know as bread, and or one of these mizonos that are from a bread family. Bread family meaning it was baked in the oven. Like it's looks like bread. Like the examples that he gave, this like honey cake or something. Okay, what else?
Okay, for me that's
Yes,
all.
all right, thank you very much. Anybody else? Any questions? Any topic? Okay, so no problem. Yeah, go ahead, Robert, go ahead.
So is this only for the specific types of cake that, or like the different kind of cakes mentioned, or is it for any kind of cake?
Any kind of cake, any.
Okay.
So all of them. So that it depends what you eat. So we're trying to go by the stricter opinion. So if you eat 8 ounces, right? So and it's and 8 ounces of dough. But of course, like if you have fillings, like if you have like raisins in there and you have butter or whatever, like margarine or something, like of course you cannot calculate all these things. So but the minhag is, the custom is that we actually include everything. So I'm not going to like measure the cake and without a cream or whatever, without filling. It's impossible. Nobody is going to do it. So just eat a little more. So you would know, like a little more, add like 15%, 20%, just in case. So it's always recommended if you have packaging. So check like how much is the whole piece, and you can see if, like for example, if I'm going to eat 1/3 of this package, whatever cake, so it's like 8 ounces. Okay, and plus as we said, it was very, very clear, right? It was very, very clear from Reb Moshe. He said people don't eat that much bread, even at the meal. They have set meal, they don't eat that much bread. When maybe 1 piece or so, like maybe 2 pieces. Of course, they're not getting satiation from 1 piece, they're from the full meal. So we try to go by a stricter opinion. Eat less, for sure less, or say Birchas Hamazon. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yes, you're welcome. Somebody else, please. See if there is a... Go ahead.
I got a quick question. It's about one of the books that you recommended again. It's the Shabbos Home. I read it's pertaining to shoelaces tying on Shabbat, on Shabbos. It says here the discussion is pertaining to tying shoelaces. It says basically that you're allowed to tie shoelaces, but not in a permanent form. Meaning it can't last for 24 hours. So are we allowed to tie shoelaces?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so let me answer this question fully, because not everybody like attended that class. So we said there. So one of the prohibition, one of the 39 melachas, and if you notice, we start this how beautiful BeEzrat HaShem team designers start with this education of melachas, like beautiful art. Right, and one of the melachas that we're going to present, BeEzrat HaShem, is tying. So you're not allowed to make knots on Shabbos. Not allowed. Right. So like I'm talking summary in general. So you're not allowed to make professional knots. Right, and they say, well, what is a professional knots? They give examples. Doesn't matter. Or permanent knot. So what is a permanent knot? They explain knot that is not going to be undone by itself. What is it? Non-permanent knot. Okay, give me example. So if you do one knot, like when you tie your shoelaces, you do one knot and then you do bow. Right. So first knot, it's not permanent. It's going to get undone by itself. So this is no problem whatsoever. But if you do the knot and the bow, So that's a little issue. So meaning what? That you have to undo it, undo the knot. This knot cannot be permanent. So I would say just say what is permanent. So the more stricter opinion, they say that up to 24 hours. 24 hours, that's permanent. Other opinions said no. They said 3 days. 3 days is permanent. Other opinion, like the most lenient opinion, until next Shabbos. So until next Shabbos, you have to undo the knot. So if, for example, normal people, I don't want to like embarrass anybody, like regular people, regular people, simple people, like simple. So they would put the shoes, right? Tie the shoelaces, and then when come home and undo the shoelaces and take them off. But some people, I think, not lazy people, right? So they never undo the shoelaces, never ever, right? Never ever. So for them, if they tie the knot on Shabbos, it is permanent. For me, since I am going to undo it like when I come home from shul, it is not permanent. But for this guy, it is permanent. So he's not allowed to tie the shoe on Shabbos. You understand? But I would be allowed. So that's the difference. So it's like one in 7 years his shoes got undone, the shoelaces. So he decided to tie on Shabbos. It's absolutely forbidden. Okay, so all right, yes, okay. So go ahead. Let's finish with him, and then we go into that person. Okay, go ahead, please, go ahead. Sorry.
So no bow is allowed on Shabbos. So that means when we tie the shoes, we just tie them with no bow, correct?
Yeah, normal way. You tie normal way, but your regular intention to untie after you're done. That's it. After you come home or whatever, like whenever you come, you're not obligated to untie right after the Shabbos. So as we said, and it's very, very important. And I see so many people, they failing, and nobody like saying like it's not normal. It's proper, absolutely proper to keep the Shabbos closing until after Havdalah, minimum. So they say properly until after Milava Malka, but if not, if you feel uncomfortable, this and that, no problem. But until after Havdalah, I see some clowns, not in the shul that I go, but in different shuls, like after they come in the mincha already like dressed down like it's a weekday. It's not proper. So mincha is on Shabbos is the most important prayer of the day, just so we know. Okay, so of course you can if you keep your shoes on, like if you undo them after Milava Malka, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay, go ahead. Raised hand, please. Go ahead. You're welcome. Okay, please start speaking, please.
Oh, Rabbi, thank you. I was going to ask about, I don't know if I heard it here. I just want to know, what do you do if, let's say you're doing chamotzi, but you have no water to wash? I forgot what you're supposed to do.
Well, and no water at all?
No water at all. Or maybe if you have a little bit, I don't know.
But it's not enough. Yeah, okay. So, so what, in this case, you can cover your hands, both of your hands, even if you're not going to touch the bread, right, completely. So you have to cover, I would say with plastic bags, like with shopping bags or something. Or if you have gloves, put on gloves. That's what we do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But you say the bracha though?
No, there's no washing.
Oh, okay. So if I had the bread there, just, okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're not allowed to touch bread. Okay. Somebody else? Any other questions, please? Go ahead, start speaking, please.
Yes, I would wrap. Somebody asked some questions on the.
Oh, please.
On the,
please. Mm-hmm.
One of them was is tortillas mezanot or shako?
Tortilla. It's a Mexican food, correct? It's wraps, or no?
Yes, it's corn tortillas, corn and flour. They have both.
Okay, so we need. Apologies. Let me take off. So It depends on what is an insight. It's not so simple. In many things it says it's corn, but it's only partially corn. It's mostly wheat with corn, so it's not so simple. We have to look at the ingredients and sometimes even call the company or ask somebody who knows. Like I would say call the company or like look at their website. What do they say the blessing is? It's not so simple. So if but I give you the answer. If it is corn flour, like no wheat flour at all, or just a little, I don't know, 5% for whatever reason. So you say shechakol, of course. All of these flours become shechakol. But if it's like even 50-50 or like even 30% of the wheat, so you would say mizonis. Because wheat is so important, and if it's you can still taste the wheat flour. So it's not such a simple question. I don't know who did it, but okay, thank you. As just to remind us, when people who were with us when we were finishing, not finishing, when we were learning Halachos of Brochos, we spent like I don't know, like 2 or 3 classes just to go through the blessing of this on the cereals, on the morning cereals. It's not such an easy thing to decide what blessing to make on a cereal. It depends how it was made, like on a process. Okay. What else? You said are there any other questions on WhatsApp? Please.
Yes.
Yeah. Please tell me.
Instead of using toothpaste on Shabbos, can we pour some mouthwash on our toothbrushes?
Yes, yeah. Okay. No, not in the toothbrushes. So we answered this question last time, but I just want to clarify. So you put mouthwash in your mouth and you brush like that. You can put water in your mouthwash, whatever you want. So the issue is squeezing. So you cannot squeeze the liquid, whatever mouthwash or whatever from your toothbrush. That's the issue. That's the main issue in this case. Okay, but if you have water or you have mouthwash in your mouth and you squeeze it into water, there is no squeezing into water. So that's the proper way. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions? Okay, please go ahead. Speak.
Rabbi, does a woman tying up her hair on Shabbat, is that like the same thing as tying shoes, or is that different?
Okay, that's a good question. So if she ties the hair without permanent knot, meaning that she leaves it by itself, and it can be undone by itself, like if she moves her hair, or after some time, so it's not permanent knot, and there is not at all, so there is no problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. It's a very interesting question. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. So if not, so last chance, nobody? Okay, so we stop here. So tomorrow we continue with Rambam, Shmoneh Prakim, very interesting topic. Last time, just to remind us, we were talking about sicknesses. So sickness meaning the spiritual sickness, like a person who is spiritually sick, he's attached or she's attached to everything like bad. So whatever bad, whatever for normal people is disgusting, that's what they like the most. Right, so thank you very much for hearts. That's what they like the most, and tomorrow we're going to start. We finish the chapter number 3. Tomorrow we're going to start BeEzrat HaShem, chapter number 4. Thank you and good night until tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.